Every human who has ever lived has faced the exact same terrifying question. What happens when you take your very last breath? Today, we have science. We have medicine. We have endless theories. But imagine living 30,000 years ago. You don't understand biology. You don't know what heart failure is. All you see is a loved one suddenly going completely still and cold. Did their story just end? Or did they simply move to a world you cannot see? Stay until the end, because the way ancient humans answered this question completely changed how civilization was built. For millions of years, early hominids didn't bury their dead. When someone died, the body was simply left behind for wild animals. Until one day, something shifted in the human mind. Archaeologists found burials from over 100,000 years ago, and they noticed something unbelievable. Ancient humans didn't just throw bodies into dirt pits. They placed them carefully, almost as if they were sleeping. They covered the bodies with red ochre powder, the color of blood and life. And right next to them, they placed stone knives, animal bones, and even flowers. Why would you bury a stone knife with a dead person? Because to ancient humans, death wasn't a wall, it was a door. They believed the dead person was going on a very long journey, and they would need their tools on the other side. But how did primitive humans come up with the idea of a soul? The answer was hidden in their dreams. Imagine an ancient hunter losing his best friend in a tiger attack. He buries him. He knows he is gone. But that night, when he falls asleep, he sees his friend again. They are hunting together. They are talking. When the hunter wakes up, he looks at the grave. The body is still there, so how did he just see him? To ancient humans, this was proof that we are made of two parts: the physical body, which stays in the dirt, and an invisible spirit that can walk through dreams, night skies, and shadows. As human groups grew larger, their ideas about death became even more fascinating. They looked at the sun setting in the west every single night, going down into total darkness and rising again every morning. They believed the dead did the exact same thing. Most ancient cultures believed the soul traveled to a shadowy underground realm. In ancient Mesopotamia, they believed the dead ate dust and mud in a giant gray cave. In ancient Egypt, they believed your heart was placed on a giant scale against a feather. If your heart was heavy with evil, a monster devoured your soul forever. If it was light, you lived in paradise. Every culture had its own version, but they all shared one thing: fear of being forgotten. This fear of the afterlife drove humans to achieve the impossible. They built giant stone circles like Stonehenge. They carved massive tombs into mountains. They erected the pyramids, not for the living, but to guide the dead into the next world. Ancient humans didn't invent the afterlife because they were foolish. They invented it because love and grief were too strong to accept that someone was just gone. It was human curiosity saying, this cannot be the end. And that single belief built the rituals, art, and monuments that define human history today. But wait, almost everything pop culture taught you about ancient death is completely wrong. First, you probably think the Egyptians built the pyramids using millions of tortured slaves. Modern archaeology proved they were actually well-fed, highly respected free workers who were buried with honor right beside the pharaohs. Second, what about Viking burials? Movies show burning ships sailing out into the ocean for every single warrior. In reality, building an ocean-going ship was far too expensive to burn. Most Vikings were buried in the ground, under stones laid out in the shape of a ship. Third, did ancient people really believe the dead came back as evil ghosts? Not always. To many ancient tribes, spirits weren't monsters trying to haunt you. They were guardians. Family members watching over the tribe to protect them from danger. And what about ancient traps and deadly curses inside tombs? Movies made us believe that ancient kings set up complex poison darts and rolling boulders to punish tomb raiders. In reality, ancient humans didn't build traps to kill invaders. They built complex labyrinths and sealed doors simply to protect the dead's journey from being interrupted. They believed disturbing a grave didn't just steal gold, it destroyed a soul's path to eternity.